In this episode, I'll be sharing with you 6 reasons to not have worries about the housing market of 2022. Welcome everyone to this episode of the AskJasonGelios Show. I'm Jason Gelios, Michigan Realtor, and I appreciate you guys tuning in to this episode where I'll be sharing with you 6 reasons to not have fear about the 2022 housing market, and actually going into 2023, quite honestly. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive right into these. So the first one is, it's okay to have concern when the market is volatile. So, the market's going up, the interest rates are going up, all these things are happening, less buyer demand, all this stuff. So just know that it's okay to have concerns about the housing market. Just like if your investment was going out of whack, right? Like we were seeing with 401ks and all that. Although I'm not a financial advisor, but it's okay to have worries about it as long as you know that it's perfectly normal. Number 2, mortgages are structured differently these days. They really are. If you go back to the recession that started around 2008, we had bad mortgages being thrown out into the market. We had interest-only loans that the wrong people were getting. We had bad loans. We had people who were approved for way more than they should have been. We had irresponsible lending, and we had irresponsible buyers as well. I'm sorry, that's true. Okay, so these days it's much harder to get a mortgage, and lenders are more strict because the government is more strict with regulations. And so there's always going to be bad loans in terms of, people defaulting, not being able to actually pay them. But you're not going to see what we saw in 2008 where, there was a mass amount of foreclosures and whatnot, okay? Number 3, housing inventories are still low. Yes, we would have to, actually, let me share with you where I found this actually piece of data. This is according to the National Association of Home Builders, and they state that they would have to build 6 million homes over the course of the next 6 years to actually catch up to where we need to be right now. So we still have a housing inventory shortage, and it's just, there's not an abundance of homes available on the market right now. Number 4, buyer demand is not completely dead. Yes, buyer demand has decreased a little bit with the rates going up. However, it's not dead. For one, there's always somebody who has to buy or sell a home. 2, it's quite honestly, you have first-time buyers that have not had a chance in the hyperactive market we experienced, right, the past two and a half years, where now they want to have a shot at home ownership. And so they're not as worried about the interest rate. Yes, it concerns them, at least the first-time buyers that I talk with, but they're not overly concerned where it's actually stalling them, okay? Number 5, real estate can actually be a benefit against inflation. Real estate almost always appreciates in value. There's no crash in values coming. There's so many so-called experts that are stating that, and I'm here to tell you that no, that's not going to happen. It's stabilizing, and by the way, the market's correcting itself, which we're going to get into that, but the market's correcting itself. It was a seller's market for a while. Okay, sellers were reaping the rewards. Now it's correcting itself, and it's going to favor home buyers. The market always does it. It goes back and forth. It favors sellers or it favors buyers. This is normal. What we're actually going through right now is pretty much normal. It's a correction. It's time for home buyers to benefit, okay? Which means if you're looking to sell, you won't be paying an astronomical price on the buying side. It's actually a good thing, okay? Number 6, like I mentioned in part of 5, a market correcting itself is not the same as a crash. Here's where these so-called influencers, and I guess they say they're experts, but they're just sharing their opinion that, the housing market's going to crash, it's going to crash, it's going to fall down, values are going to drop, there's going to be a ton of foreclosures. I hear this often, and I'm here to tell you, no, the market correcting itself, again, towards favoring buyers right now. It's November 2022 as you're watching this. The market's correcting itself to favor home buyers. And so sellers, yes, you're gonna, even with the inventory being low, you're still gonna have to work, especially during the holiday season, to get some buyers, because you're still gonna have competition compared to last year and the year before, okay, where a seller was able to literally name their price. So a market correcting itself is not the same as a crash. It's just correcting itself. It's not a big deal. This happens a lot. Several odd years from now, it's gonna correct itself back towards favoring sellers. It's gonna go back and forth. That's what the housing market does. So these are just 6 reasons that I want to share with you about why you shouldn't have an overwhelming fear about the housing market for 2022 and into 2023. I'd love to hear your thoughts, or rather read your thoughts, or however you want to do. You can share those thoughts in the comments, as well as visit my website. It's allabouttherealestate.com. And by the way, if you fill out the pop-up form there, you can receive a brand new episode of the Ask Jason Gelios Show once a week. Otherwise, I appreciate you watching, and I hope you guys have a great week.